All right, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Free. I'm Ryan. I'm the pastor and executive director here. This is Noelle. She is the community director here. And it is good to be with you all on another Saturday night. Now, just to give you the reminder, this is a community for addicts, loved ones of addicts, and spiritual refugees. And what we do here is, I don't know why I said it that way. What we do is break the silence of addiction and create space for healing, recovery, and spiritual connection. And there is one thing we do not do on the count of three, all four words. 1, 2, 3. We don't do shame. All right, y'all, but we do some other things around here that I want y'all to know about. Noelle, you want to start?
Yeah, we do welcome bags here for those people who are here for the first evening. So if this is your first time at Free, thank you for joining us tonight. We're so glad you're here. We have welcome bags right outside the store here. They're in brown paper bags with the Free stamp on the front. They have a little bit about what we do here at Free Spiritual Community, a little bit about what Wagon Coffee does. There's some fresh roasted Wagon Coffee in those bags and just some free swag. So please grab one and just know that we're so glad you're here. On March 18th at 4 p.m. here in the cafe, our home team is going to be having an event. So if you're looking to get involved here at Free Spiritual Community, this is a great way to go about it. Home team, they make sure we're greeted every week when we're walking through the door, setting up all of our holiday, all of our holiday ornaments that go up, all of our parties that we have. They are an incremental part in making Free a success. So if you are interested in getting more involved here at Free, or just branching out in the community, that is a great way to do so. So March 18th. At 4 p.m. And keep in mind, our 5 p.m. service starts next week, so it'll be before that 5 p.m. service, right next door in that cafe. Lastly, we are kicking off our Sober Open Mic Night series again with the Phoenix. So we partner with the Phoenix on this, and we bring Sober Open Mic Night in this room. And so the first one in a series over the next 5 months will be March 23rd.
Over the next year.
Over the next year.
It's 5 events over the next year.
Yes. So 5 events over the next year, every other month. So the next one will be March 23rd. We team up with the Phoenix on this, and we're really grateful for our sponsors, CARE and then Sparrow Recovery, who they help support this event so much. So doors will open at 6 p.m. Performances are from 7 to 9. We typically take about 12 performers, and those spots fill up quick. So whether you are musically inclined or maybe a poet or, we've had some stand-up. I was going to say some stand-up comedians. Yep, those are great. So please sign up, but know that those spots fill up quickly, and we will plan to have one every other month over the next year, teaming up with the Phoenix.
Yeah, it's going to be all kinds of fun. And if you're not performing, still come and have a good time and support those who are brave enough to take the stage in sobriety, many of them new in sobriety, and it's just a great event. So I hope you all come out.
This is a packed house during Sober Open Mic
Yes,
nights.
it is.
And the cafe will be open, so you can grab a cup of coffee, something to eat, and then come watch some performances. So it's a great time. So
yes, thank you, Noelle. One other thing I want you all to know about is we have do we have a picture of the new prayer and meditation room? There it is. So this door has been closed for since we've moved here. We've just kept it closed, and it was empty and kind of dungeon-like. And so Chandra Swinson, thank you, Chandra. She's a counselor on site here at Free. A counselor on trauma therapy is what the word I was looking for. Anyway, she took this room and decorated it, spruced it up for us. It is beautiful. This room is meant for, it's in between the 2 kids' rooms. So if you want to check it out tonight, you're more than welcome. It will be open each day from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. If you're looking for quiet space to do some prayer and meditation, this room is for you. You can pop in and out throughout the day, or if you just need some quiet space, this room's going to be open each day. So I highly encourage you to check it out. Thank you, Chandra, if you're watching online. Thank you for decorating that room for us and making it look lovely. Ben, I know you did a ton of work on that too, so thank you for everything. It's a great addition to this already great building. All right, one more thing y'all need to know, because if you haven't heard the announcement over the last several weeks, well, we got a little video. Let's see it. Free is growing. All right, so if you're a bit fuzzy or if you're new here, you know that, well, you would know this if you're new, but things have been growing each month, new people, more people. It's been crowded in here. We've had overflow in the cafe. We'll keep that overflow, but new 5 o'clock service starting next week and every week from there forward. So we'll do a 5 o'clock and a 7 o'clock. The 5 o'clock will not be live streamed, only the 7 o'clock for those of you online. The 7 o'clock will be live streamed. Other than that, it will be the same exact service. So I've heard from many of you that have young kids that 5 o'clock service works much better. Maybe even if you don't have young kids, it works better for you. You can come to one, you can come to both, you can do whatever suits you and make it work for you. So 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock, that starts next week. All right, y'all, the way we start here at Free is with celebrations. We celebrate together. We lift up the good stuff. We start with the good stuff. It's a really important part of this service and doing community, doing life together, lifting up the good, remembering the good. So maybe that's a sober birthday for you or a new home, a new job, a new baby, whatever the new thing is, we want to celebrate it together in community. We believe that God joins with us in this celebration. We take 3 minutes for this. So if you're watching online, welcome to all of you. If you have a celebration, drop it in the Facebook comments, the YouTube comments, wherever, whatever platform you're joining us from. We celebrate together. So Mickey will be passing around the mic. Just lift up your hand. He'll give you a mic, and you give us the celebration. Let's take 3.
Hey, I'm Austin. I got 9 months clean and sober on Thursday.
Way to go, Austin.
Hey, I'm Jackie. I'm an alcoholic, and I celebrated 8 years at the end of February.
Jackie!
Michelle, alcoholic. Tomorrow is 6 years since I survived a motorcycle accident that I might not have survived, and also 6 years from the last time I ever touched meth.
All right. Michelle, we're glad you're here. That's awesome.
My name is Michael. I'm an alcoholic and addict, and on Wednesday I celebrated 10 months clean and sober.
All right, Michael. Congratulations, man.
My name's Felicia, and I'm alcoholic, and today I celebrate 79 days sober.
All right, Felicia.
Hi, my name is Abby, and I'm in active recovery from alcoholism. And on Friday, I found out that I am the Charles Schwab 2022 Founders Award winner. So
big deal, Abby. Congratulations. So awesome.
Hello, my name is Margaret, and I have a month behind me, and I'm an addict of meth, and I've been clean for a month.
All right. Glad you're here, Margaret. Congratulations.
Hi, my name is Lori, and on Monday I will celebrate 1 year sober.
Lori, congratulations.
My name is Paige, and my boyfriend Max got a year this past Tuesday.
All right, Max. Congratulations, buddy.
I'm Mark. I'm an alcoholic, and yesterday I celebrated 11 months.
All right, Mark. Congratulations, buddy.
Cass, addict, alcoholic. I have 60 days today.
Cassidy, congratulations.
Hi, I'm Shiloh, and I'm celebrating getting first place in vault in my competition today.
Way to go, girl. I'm proud of you.
I'm Nisha. I'm in recovery, and today's 30 days.
All right, 30 days.
My name's Patrick, and I'm celebrating 90 days off fentanyl.
Patrick, congratulations, dude. Big deals up in here.
I'm Courtney, and I have 30 days today.
Way to go, Courtney. Mickey, you're doing some running tonight, dude. I'm proud of you. Own that.
My name's Justin. I'm an alcoholic. I'm here to go to treatment, and I've been sober for 8 days.
All right, Justin, glad you're here, man. 8 days is a long time. Oh, we got one more?
My name's John. I'm an alcoholic. I'm on 14 months today.
Way to go,
Thank
John.
you.
Congratulations. Mickey, if you could hand that mic to my lovely bride, Mrs. Tammy Canaday. Come on up here, Tammy, and yeah. Do we have anything to celebrate?
I think Shiloh took it.
Shiloh took it. We got to watch her gymnastics meet this morning. It was beautiful. Congratulations, baby. We're proud of you.
So much pride. Ooh,
So much
proud of you,
pride.
girl.
All right, you want to take the first one online?
Yeah, Trisha says, best friend is breaking barriers in his sobriety and is 97 days sober.
All
Good
right.
job, Trisha.
Congratulations. Talia says, celebrating 97 days sober today. Way to go,
Nice,
Talia. We're
Talia.
proud of you. Congratulations.
Hey, John, want to celebrate free and how far it's come in the last few years. Truly dig everyone in the free community.
Yes,
we like
sir.
you too, John.
Thank you, John. We'll celebrate that. Carrie says, celebrating my boyfriend Michael's belly button birthday today. Happy
Yay,
birthday,
Michael.
Michael.
Happy birthday.
Should I sing for him?
You should.
Next service. We'll do next service. We'll sing.
Next service, yes. You did that at 5 o'clock. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah, 5 o'clock.
Stacy says, I am so grateful that you are live. You are live. I gotcha. So we can watch this from Fort Collins. I hope to see you live in person on the 11th of this month. Cool. We'd love
We
that,
hope so
Stacy.
too. Welcome from Fort Collins. Christy, our dear friend Christy, says, celebrating all those who are working so hard on themselves and their sobriety. Jen celebrates 3.5 years
Yeah, Jen.
this week. Congratulations, Jen. Thank you for sharing that with us, Christy.
And Steph says, I'd love to be with you all in person, but I'm celebrating my 50th birthday with my boys. I've only got 6 days here, and I haven't seen them in 5 months, so I'm filling up on their love. I got to
That's
see you
important.
yesterday, though, so that was really special.
Yes. Hey, happy birthday, Stephanie.
Yeah, Steph, 50.
Glad you're joining us tonight.
Love on those boys.
Okay, Amber says, got to put my baby girl Isabel to sleep for 2 nights the first time in 4 months.
that's a good
Congratulations,
stuff,
Amber. Tender moments, beautiful moments.
And Devana says, celebrate that the father of my children and the love of my life is a few weeks shy of a year sober. We are even restarting our relationship after a year. Aw, good stuff.
New
Devana.
life. Thank you for sharing that with us, Devana. Courtney says, celebrating my husband who received a new job offer and is 70 days sober today. I'm so proud of him. We'll
Cool,
celebrate
Courtney.
that with you, Courtney.
So much to celebrate. Wow.
A lot,
Jen
yes.
says, on March 7th, I will have 3.5 years sober. God is good. Thank you so much for this community. We love you too, Jen. So
Yes,
grateful that
Jen,
you're part of it.
congratulations. Is there more still? Oh my goodness, I'm getting tired. I'm going to go take a nap. Actually, we love to celebrate. John says celebrating 1.5 years. God bless you guys. Stay strong.
Good
John,
stuff, John.
congratulations to you. 1.5 years sober. Thank you for joining me up here. Tammy, you want to put that on the couch? Beautiful. All right, y'all. We're in our 4th and final week of this What We Stand For series. It's the one series we do every single year. It's the 4 things you see when you walk in. We started with authenticity, then recovery. Last week, why we don't do shame. And this week, Noelle is going to close us with new life. But before we get there, let me just say a word about the next few weeks. Next week, we're going to start a 7-week series on habits. The importance. What are habits? Why are they important? Why are they important to your recovery, your spiritual life? We're going to spend 7 weeks in habits. I'm excited to tell you this week, our guest storyteller tonight is Karie. Where is Karie? Yeah, she's going to be awesome. I can't wait for y'all to hear her story. Our HomeTEAM Lead. Next week, my sponsor, Tom Epting, Sergeant Major, is going to be in the house. I've asked him to come and share, and he's going to have a powerful word on habits. So you don't want to miss next week, and you don't want to miss this week. Tonight, it's all about new life. We created Free because someone had to stand for the addicts and loved ones of addicts who were suffering in silence. for the spiritual refugees who didn't have a place of belonging. A traditional church model doesn't create space for the conversations we know have to be had. Free is standing with those who are barely hanging on, who are longing for something new. Free is bridging the gap between spirituality and recovery. In this place, God meets us exactly where we are. This is what we stand for.
So the year is 2016, and I'm a local chapter board member for the International Right-of-Way Association. It's the IRWA for short. Y'all know that full-time I work as a project manager at an engineering firm, and the International Right-of-Way Association is a professional credentialing organization for appraisers and attorneys and environmentalists and landmen. And they do projects on public and private energy and infrastructure projects. You don't need to remember any of that, and it really doesn't matter. I'm just citing my sources. So it's 2016, and I'm on the board, and we're here in Denver, and we decide that we're going to bid for that IRWA conference, that annual conference, to be here in Denver in the summer of 2022. And this conference, it hosts thousands of people every year. And there were 3 cities that were bidding for this conference. There was San Diego, California, Denver, Colorado, and then there was Cleveland, Ohio. So I was on the 3-person committee team to bid for this conference to be in Denver. And the winner was going to be announced in Anchorage, Alaska, the conference that year. And we were going to pull out all the stops. You know, we got creating all the marketing materials, and we had the perfect booth at the exhibit hall at the conference that year. Our advertising was world class. Like, we had it all planned. We were going to have the event at the Hilton downtown. And then the big Monday night event, we were going to rent out Red Rocks and hire a private band. We were pulling out all the stops. And the last day of conference in Anchorage, it was the board of directors meeting. And every voting director who was there, they put in their vote for where the conference should be. When the results are in, I couldn't believe it. San Diego didn't win. And Denver didn't win. Cleveland freaking Ohio won. And I was fuming with anger. You know, all that work that we had done to lose to Cleveland, it really sent me over the edge. And I was in the height of my drinking career during this time, so I did what any good alcoholic would do. I went downtown to Anchorage and proceeded to drink every drop of vodka that town had to offer. And the next morning, I got on a plane back to Colorado with this big headache and just bitterness towards all things Ohio. Tonight, I really want our hearts to be open, because tonight we're talking about new life, and specifically the work and the patience that it takes to get to new life, and the faith that we have to have, not only in our own patience, but in the perfect patience of God. Patience. Some of y'all are like, dang, I came on the wrong Saturday. At the end of last year, I really started to look at patience in my own life, and specifically the lack of patience in my own life. And it dawned on me that it's a necessity in this day and age, more than it ever has been before, to have patience in our lives. And I think it's so difficult for us because it's so countercultural. We live in this season where we should be able to think it, see it, click it, and have it. So when we talk about new life, most of us stray away from it because we think we don't have the time, or that we don't possess the patience that it takes to really be able to do or become what God has called us to become. You know, convenience is key in our culture, and we like things like the faster the better. You know, no wait time, microwave meals, and drive-through dreams, and high-speed internet, and Wi-Fi. And it better be free Wi-Fi, and online grocery shopping, and on-demand entertainment, and Amazon Prime, 2-day shipping, Deal Dash, Instagram, Quicken Loans, FaceTime, fad diets. And the sad thing is, I've seen a lot of these ideas seep into people's spirituality and seep into their recovery. I mean, it's seeped into my own spirituality and my own recovery. You know, sometimes I find myself wanting connection through a computer screen or a cell phone rather than the accountability that community brings. And then this vicious cycle, it starts within me where I'd rather be seen than to serve. And maybe that cycle, it's starting in you too, where you would rather a platform than a process. And at our worst, as a society, we want lessons, we want likes more than lessons, and we want wealth more than wisdom. And exhibiting patience, it doesn't pertain to getting sober or not. That's always something that we should take immediate action on. But what I'm talking about tonight is the space between putting the bottle down or putting the needle down or that codependent behavior down and then moving on to new life, that journey to new life or to emotional sobriety, to inner peace. The space in between being broken to the healing on the road to new life. How many of you know that when we put the drink or the drug down, that that's just the beginning of our journey, that there's still a lot more work to be done? See, some of us want the new life, but we can't cope with the work and the patience that it takes to develop that new life. For your spiritual community, the promise is always found in the development. The promise of new life that God has for us is usually discovered while we're going through that process, and that process always requires work and patience. The equation to new life consists of just that, patience and the work. And not only patience in ourselves, but having faith in the perfect patience of God. There's this little passage in 1 Timothy, and it's one of the clearest places in Scripture where God's patience is unpacked for us. And I've been encouraged by this little passage, knowing that God is with me for the long haul, from the transitions from the old to the new. In this passage, the Apostle Paul, he's talking to this young leader, and his name is Timothy. And Paul is writing to his young protege who is just starting out in his ministry. And he's just starting out on the legacy that he's going to leave behind. And the Apostle Paul wants to make sure that in this letter that he gets across one thing to Timothy. And it's the grand, great patience of God. He wants him to know, hey, Tim, you're going to make some mistakes along the way. And everything, it's not going to run perfectly for you. It's not going to go as you hoped that it would. You're on this journey to new life. But I want you to know that on this journey, that God's patience and his grace, that it's sufficient for you. So 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 16, it says this, "Yet for this reason I found mercy, so that in me, as the foremost sinner, Jesus Christ might demonstrate his perfect patience as an example for those who would believe in him for eternal life." So Paul's saying, listen, the patience that God possesses, it isn't just good patience, and it isn't just great patience, but it's absolutely 100% perfect. So even at its furthest reaches, that there's not one imperfection in God's patience for us. Like you can't go over or under, and you can't go around it, and you can't escape it. Like God's patience is complete, and it's perfect, and it's got you covered. And Paul says, just in case you're not sure, look at me. Paul says, I'm a demonstration of how perfect it must be, because I am the foremost, meaning the chief of all sinners. And Paul is writing to Timothy and basically saying, you haven't done anything that I haven't already done. And you haven't gone anywhere that I haven't already gone. And you haven't dug a pit for yourself that is deeper than the one that I have dug for myself. And Paul says, I'm telling you that if God has enough patience to reach down in my pit and pull me up out of that thing to new life, I promise that he's got you covered too. Paul is telling Timothy that he is a demonstration of the patience of God, like he's Exhibit A. And I love that Paul, that he doesn't give us his sin resume in this scripture. He doesn't give us the details as to why he's the foremost sinner or why he's a demonstration of God's patience. He just says that I am. See, if Paul gave us the details of his sin resume, we might get so distracted with the problem that we forget what the solution is. Have any of you all ever been in a recovery meeting where someone shares entirely about what the problem is? And it's okay, like to have a one-off. We all go through those seasons, but I'm talking like time and time again. Just always what the problem is and not how they're seeking resolve to that problem. The Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous on page 17, it reads, "The feeling of having shared in a common peril is only one element that binds us in the powerful cement which binds us. But that in itself would have never held us together as we are now joined. The tremendous fact for every one of us is that we have discovered a common solution. And as addicts, and as loved ones of addicts, and as spiritual refugees, the cement that binds us, it's our solution. It's not our problem. And that solution is God. So I'm glad we don't get a chance to get distracted by Paul's peril or his problems. So what I'm trying to say through all this is in the game, if life is a game of chess, he's moves ahead of us, patiently placing the people and the circumstances in our life when the time comes, when we're in a place where we're ready to receive them, or when we're ready to step into new life. He is pulling strings and making the right moves that we aren't even aware of. Like, you have been divinely set up already. You were meant to be here. If you work a 12-step program, you're familiar with the bedevilments, and they're found on page 52 of the Big Book. It reads, we were having trouble with our own personal relationships. We couldn't control our emotional natures. We were prey to misery and depression. We couldn't make a living. We had a feeling of uselessness. We were full of fear. We were unhappy. We couldn't seem to be of real help to other people. And whether you're familiar with the Big Book or not, it doesn't matter. These are the same symptoms that we deal with regarding untreated codependency or untreated eating disorders during active addiction or during your loved one's active addiction. And the 9th step promises, they are the exact opposite of the bedevilments. And they are found 31 pages later in the Big Book on page 83. So what's in between the bedevilments and the 9th step promises? Like, what's in that space between? What's in that space between incomprehensible demoralization to comprehending the word serenity and knowing peace? Between being prey to misery and depression and then knowing a new freedom or happiness? It's the work. It's steps 2 through 9. Remember that the equation to new life consists of 2 things: patience and the work. And for some of you, that may look like therapy or joining a spiritual community. It may look like a 12-step program or another small group of like-minded individuals. But it's a 2-part deal to new life. When I left Anchorage, Alaska in 2016, I was still 3 years from getting sober. At that point, I had never considered the idea of quitting drinking. I still had a lot of research to do. I had some more charges to catch, and I still had many more bottoms to put myself through. I couldn't even think about the idea of new life because I was so busy drowning in my own addiction. I didn't know anything about Alcoholics Anonymous, much less recovery or sobriety, but during this time, God was pulling strings and moving pieces that I couldn't even begin to wrap my head around. And it wasn't until 3 summers later in 2019 when I walked into my first AA meeting, and I immediately started to do the work, and I've been sober ever since. See, the summer of 2022, it came, and so did that conference in Cleveland, Ohio. And I remember meeting with a friend in recovery a few weeks before this conference, and I let her know that I would be out of town that second week of June. And she asked me if I planned on visiting Akron, Ohio, the weekend before the conference had started. And I asked her what was in Akron, Ohio. I didn't know what she was talking about. And she reminded me that Akron, Ohio was the birthplace of Alcoholics Anonymous, the very program that saved my life. It was a 35-minute drive south from Cleveland, Ohio. And I immediately reworked my flight schedule at the opportunity to visit some of these historic sites. These sites that played a vital role in the lineage of my sobriety and maybe in the lineage of your sobriety too. I stood outside the cottage where Bill W. and Dr. Bob, the 2 founders of AA, where they met for the first time. And then I walked to King's School, where the very first 12-step recovery meeting was ever held. And then I walked up the steps into the house of Dr. Bob and Ann Smith's home. These steps, where they helped dozens and dozens of alcoholics over the first years of their life. And Dr. Bob and Ann Smith, they had this house for years before AA was formed. Do y'all know how many steps are up to the top of their house? There's 12 steps. So these places that I had no idea existed, or what they meant, or the significance that they would have in my life in Anchorage, Alaska in 2016. But losing to Cleveland gave me this all expense paid trip at almost 3 years sober to visit these incredibly remarkable sites of New Life that have saved millions of people, including my own. The recipe for New Life, it consists of two things: patience and the work. What I know for certain is God could and would if he were sought. So what does that mean? It means that if I'm on a proverbial boat with God, and we're making our way down a river, one of us has the oar and one of us has the rudder. Like, one of us is rowing and one of us is in the back steering, and let me tell you, God doesn't row. I have the best navigation system behind me on this journey from the old to the new, but it's up to me to row and to put the work in and to show up day after day. But then in those seasons where we continue to show up and we continue to row and we're not seeing any changes, or it looks like the shifts that they're not happening yet. Like, I put down the drugs, but I'm still struggling with my mental health, or my family isn't restored yet. My financial situation, it's still crumbling. I haven't got my job back. That's where we have to have faith in God's patience. I get it, that it sounds a lot easier than it is. I hate the waiting game. It bothers me because it makes me insecure, and it makes me question myself, and it second guess the path that I'm on. But I also know for certain that this waiting time, while we're doing the rowing and taking the action and putting one foot in front of the other, trudging the road of New Life, that God is putting people and maneuvering situations in our lives 2 and 3 and 27 and 127 steps ahead of us. And in those weak moments, when I lose sight that there's a bigger plan that I can't even begin to comprehend, I just think about Anchorage, Alaska. The promise of New Life that God has for us is usually discovered when we're going through the process, and that process, it always requires patience and work. And not only our patience, but the perfect patience of God. God is pulling strings of New Life behind the scenes for you and me that we're only truly aware of in hindsight. But it's our job to do the rowing. He's pulling strings even right now, in this very moment, and even strings with Cleveland, Ohio. I want to play a song for y'all tonight that celebrates that in-between period, the journey to New Life, the space in between the broken and the healing. Because sometimes I think I need a reminder, to have gratitude for those seasons of rowing. So here's Blessed by Brett Dennen.
You, Miss Wysocki. That don't know Brett Dennen, that's Brett Dennen. About 10 years ago, Rolling Stone magazine said he is the artist to watch. So if you don't know Brett Dennen, YouTube Brett Dennen and get to know YouTube. Who YouTube's that anymore? Spotify him or Pandora him. Is that what kids do today? All right, y'all. If you're new with us, I want you to know that every single Saturday night we have a guest storyteller to join us in the living room to share some of their experience around the topic at hand. Tonight it is, of course, new life. Now, here's the deal. Karie McMullen will be joining me up here in the living room. I'm always thinking through, how do I introduce these people? So I don't want to give the sin resume, right? But I do want y'all to know this. Karie these are things we can celebrate in this community. She got kicked out of high school. She also gave her valedictorian speech in high school high on meth. She was arrested 6 times. She was a drunk like so many of us. And that's why we celebrate this thing called new life, because she experienced things like grace, compassion, love, and forgiveness, the things that set us free and the things that are always so freely given by God. And what I can tell you today is she's a sober mom. She's a sober, contributing member of society and been sober for over 6 years now. And I'm telling y'all, Karie is one of my very favorite people. My favorite thing about Karie is you'll ask her to do something and she'll say, me? Like, you think I could do that? Yeah, you're like the perfect person for it. You're not going to meet anyone more humble than Karie. So Karie, come join me up here in the living room. Karie McMullen, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, friends.
Woo, look at that. You're like a beloved. Oh, I didn't bring my tea up here. I'm going to get my tea in a minute. Just because my throat gets so dry. I get so nervous.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So, what I didn't mention about Karie, too, is she is our home team lead. She is just rocking things, getting our home team restructured and organized and doing all sorts of cool things. So thank you for stepping into that role. You've been doing that for what, 3 months?
But I definitely don't do it alone. So I appreciate all those other volunteers that help me.
Yes. If you're a home team member, would you just stand up so we see who she's talking about? Yeah, Austin, Abby, I know we got some of the Chase.
And Katie's there too somewhere.
Swear to God, this community just has some of the very best people. The other thing I didn't mention about Karie, which we're going to get to later, but I meant to mention it when I introduced you, to say, did y'all know several months ago she was invited to Free, and she's like, I ain't going in there. I ain't doing that. No sort of church thing. I ain't going to do it. And now look at her. Home team lead, baptized in the wagon a few weeks ago and sitting up on the couch now.
And a microphone in my hand.
Microphone. Okay, enough about you. Let's get to the real you talking you. Let's start in the very simple. Why is new life so significant to you? And I know in that we have to talk some about the old life. So tell us.
I think first and foremost, that new life for me, if you had known me a little over 6 years ago, I had no voice. I was on the floor in my closet. I couldn't go out. I couldn't be around people. I was so isolated and alone. I was such that type A perfect mom who thought that I had to have all of the answers. And I was leading completely on self-will, and I couldn't let anyone see inside because they would figure it out, that I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have the answers. I wasn't worthy. I didn't love myself. And I was going to try my hardest that you wouldn't figure that out.
And so let me ask you this. Is that what, did the bottle give you comfort in that? Is that what alcohol provided for you, was I can keep living this way. I can keep shutting down what I'm really feeling, the fear of what you're really going to see. How did addiction play out?
I mean, first and foremost, from the time I was about 14, it gave me that breath that I was searching for, that gave me that relief of I wasn't alone. I felt like I had friends around me. I had people around me. And it gave me that freedom to really be what I thought you needed me to be. So I was really living as a shell of a person and absorbing the environment around me and really being this chameleon of who I thought you needed me to be.
And when did that start for you? I mean, when you told me, when we sat down last week and you told me you were arrested 6 times in high school giving the speech high on meth, I just thought, Karie? This Karie sitting in front of me? So when did it start for you? How old were you?
I mean, probably around 6th grade is when I first started drinking. I came from a very dysfunctional family. I was the quintessential latchkey kid with no real adult supervision, and I was the friend that had access, and I was the friend that you called when you wanted someone to hang out with. I was always available.
So let's get to some of the new life stuff. So that's the old Karie. It's always so surprising to me in this community and in any recovery community. You look at people and you say, "Come on, that was you. That was you." So that was the old Karie. How did new life happen in your life? What's that look like?
Well, it certainly didn't happen overnight, and I hate to bust the bubble, but I actually don't have it all together all the time today. It's this constant, there's no finish line. I haven't reached the perfection of my life. It's something that I work on every single day. It's something that I can't do alone. I have wonderful women in my life and wonderful friends. And I've stopped pretending that I have all the answers.
And you told me, you said, I'm not changing the past, but I'm changing how I deal with the effects of the past. I want you to talk a little bit about that, because I think so much of what happens in recovery is we spend so much time hoping for a different past. If I could just change the past, we can't change the past. So how do you change the effects of the past today in recovery?
I mean, again, I don't do this perfectly. I have days where I still wish it was different. I still have days where I wish people who aren't in my life, I still wish that they were or they could be, or that I somehow was different. But what I love so much are these reminders of these, the 4 posters. And today I don't have to live in the shame of my story. Even when you said the high school bit, I don't think my kids knew that information totally, but that's okay, because it's one of those, that's great though. It's great. Sorry, because it's like, hey, look what your mom did. But I will tell you, I don't have to fear that anymore. I don't have to fear that, what are they going to say? And what are people going to think of me? And, and for so long I was trying to be that perfect mom. And now they get to see that hey, I'm just a person trying my best.
Now I feel bad, Karie, because I blew the big news. Kids, if you have, just talk to me afterwards. Don't talk to mom about it. No, thank you for saying that you don't have anything to hide anymore. There's not that we don't live under that shame anymore. And I think it's so fascinating to me. I hope I could say this. I think I could say this. You said while you were active in your addiction, you hated yourself and you wanted to die. And not that life is easy today. There's still hard things that happen in recovery. But you don't have that darkness anymore. You actually have people in your life and friends to walk this journey with. And tools to actually open up about this stuff and talk about the hard times. Anything you want to add to that?
I mean, first and foremost, I have such an amazing mentorship in this program of all of the women who have gone before me. One of the greatest things that I've ever learned was really told to me was that I'm a child of God and a woman of worth, and I finally chose to believe her. I finally chose to, maybe I was wrong about myself this whole time, and maybe I could have this different life and a different perspective of myself.
Yeah. Actually starting to believe that new life isn't just possible, but it actually is happening. Would you say a little bit, Karie, about why did you not want to come into free? Like, look at us. We are beautiful people in here, and you were like this. But I say that in all honesty. I know there are people watching tonight online because I hear from them, and they're like, I'm just not ready to come in yet because I've had a bad experience with religion or I've had a bad experience with those people. And it's always like, yeah, take your time. Totally take your time. There are people here tonight who have been exactly where you were. They were like, hey, it was kind of creepy coming in, but I did it. Tell us just some of the thinking behind what was so scary, or why were you so hesitant about coming in?
Well, I can admit it's for sure contempt prior to investigation. I had no idea what this community was about. But my entire life pre-recovery was filled with heartache of people trying to sell me something and really delivering something different. I did not grow up with religion. It was weaponized kind of against me. And I didn't want to be duped again of like, here, come in here and you belong. And then, I was going to be the one exception of like, we don't do shame, but we're going to shame you. And, I was really so used to the hypocrisy out there of people not practicing what they preach.
Yeah. Some people wanted to say amen to that. I know it. So tell us, now you're leading the home team, 6.5 years sober, and it dang near brings you to tears when she starts talking about this idea of belonging. And why is it so important for you to create this sense of belonging here?
I think I grew up most of my life believing that I wasn't wanted and I was always a burden to people, and I had to do something in order to be here or to belong or to be accepted. And that's probably my biggest core wound. And so for me, I don't want anyone to ever feel that pain and that shame and that loneliness of thinking that they're the exception to God's love, and that they're the exception. And so for me, I want to open the doors and I want to open my, I love giving hugs, so for me, it's like my sponsor always tells me, like, you have to give the hugs you want to receive, right? And so I want to heal selfishly that part of me who didn't feel like they belonged, and I don't want anyone to ever feel that.
I am so glad you are one of the faces of HomeTEAM and leading the way in that, and that people get to see your smile and get a hug from Karie when they walk in and feel welcomed here. So what was it that shifted for you? Something shifted to where I think you feel like you belong here now. What kind of put that fear to ease of, okay, I can do this. I can do this.
I'm going to use Noelle on this one. And it was definitely patience. It didn't happen overnight. It wasn't this like poof epiphany moment where like, I am cured. It even took me a while to come to a Saturday service. And for me, it was really just the patience of getting my feet a little wet, and then like slowly and surely saying like, hey, yeah, I do want to help. At first I volunteered in the kids club because it kind of kept me out of the actual sanctuary.
Oh, kept you on the margins. All right.
And then, I guess slowly and surely I just actually realized that you and Tammy and this entire community actually practice what you preach, and you really are welcoming, and you don't do shame.
I am so glad you're part of this community, Karie. I'm so glad you're sober. What would you say to the person who's out there fighting all of those old stories of I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough? They're battling shame. They're sticking around on the margins. What would you say to them to just jump in and get involved? And of course, we want people here, but I don't even care if it's here. It's some sort of community where they're going to find some belonging. What do you say to them?
I mean, I think first and foremost that to have patience, and wherever you are, that's exactly where you're supposed to be. But also give that hope that, like, what if you're wrong? Like, what if you do deserve the life that you see other people living? What if you do deserve the love that you hear people say that they feel for themselves? And to really just be willing to trust those people who want to help you, and just be willing to reach out your hand and say, I don't know how to do this, but I'm willing to try.
And I'm willing to be wrong. I love that.
Yeah,
You're willing to
I'm
be
willing
wrong
to be
about
wrong.
yourself. My glasses may not be the best ones to look through right now.
Mhm.
Okay, on a final note, Home Team is having an event on March 18th, which is, oh dang, that's next Saturday.
It's next Saturday at 4 p.m.
Why should people be a part of the Home Team, and why should they come to that?
I mean, I think it's one of the greatest ways to get plugged in. It's a great way to walk the talk, right? Like, so if you want to practice what we preach around here in this new life, and getting to know people, getting people to know you, giving back to this amazing community, there's ways big and small that we all can help. And I also think we're all pretty cool, and we're all kind of
We
fun.
definitely are.
I love the Home Team. Like, we're all fun.
Karie, thank you for leading the way in that. Thank you for, are you going to stick around at the table?
I am.
Okay, so if you want to be a part of Home Team, if you're interested in finding out more about that, see Karie at the table with blue balloons
And candy. There's candy.
There's chocolate.
But you have to sign up for the candy.
All right, Karie, thank you for being here, and thank you for being brave enough to share some of your story with us. Karie
Thank
McMullen,
you.
y'all. Hey, y'all, I need to say really quickly, if someone's in I believe, a Honda Pilot, they're blocking a neighbor's driveway, and just to, I will continue to give this reminder, they are reminding me each week, they are going to begin towing. So if you are blocking a neighbor's driveway, what's that? Oh, he needs me to step down. Yeah, so if just a reminder, parking, I know parking is dicey here because, well, there's more and more people coming. So the Safeway is an 89-second walk west, open parking. You can park there. There's a parking lot in the back of our building. It fills up quickly, and there is street parking. We just can't block driveways, that's all. So I'll keep giving the reminder because we all need to be reminded not to block driveways. But anyway, that's that. That's you. You can go move it now. All right, y'all, the way we close things down on a Saturday night, almost close things down, I should say, is the same way we begin. We begin with celebrations, but we close with heartaches, because each week we know that there are heavy burdens out there, especially in a addiction recovery community. Y'all carry some heavy stuff, and we don't have to carry it alone. We do that together as community. So we take 3 minutes for this, and it's your opportunity to lift up someone in prayer. To encourage them to do this journey together. And we believe that God always hears the cries of the people. So again, this is a really important part of our service, important part of our night together. If you're joining us online, just put it in the Facebook comments, the YouTube comments, wherever you're joining us from, and we will heartache with you there. But let's take 3 minutes and share some heartaches, shall we? Oh, Mickey, I need to give you the mic. Mickey will pass around the mic. You can just raise up your hand. Thank you, Mickey, for being of service. It's on.
My name is Levon. I'm an addict and an alcoholic. I have a friend who's still struggling with addiction. Not really sure which way to go, so say some prayers for him. Hope he finds his way.
Prayers for that friend, man. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Hi, my name is Sheila, and I'd like to lift up my sweet niece, Teresa, who is in liver failure in the hospital. Thank you.
All right, lifting up Teresa. Prayers for her and a family.
Hello, my name is Margaret, and March 10th, I had lost my fiance. It'll be at the year mark. If you could just pray for me on that day. I'm still in recovery, so I just don't want to mess that up. Thank you.
Prayers for you tonight. Thank you for sharing that with us.
My name's Calvin, and I'm an addict. I've had 3 friends in the last 4 days relapse, and they're out on the streets right now struggling, so they need all the prayers they can get right now.
Prayers for those on the streets, man. Friends. Praying for them.
Hey, I'm John. Yeah, I just, I always think, like, back in 2016 that, I don't know, just have a memory of my mom as, like, that she deserved to be, and, she never, I don't know how to put this, like, was able to fully, fight her demons and deal with her alcoholism. I mean, I know there's a better way to phrase it, but, and just want to make sure she needs to be honored. And I got a friend who's going through something similar. So it's on, I make sure that I do, the best I can to help them. And there's a lot of things I do that, like, I don't want to hurt anybody anymore, frankly, because I'm tired of being, like, self-centered. But anyway, yeah. Thanks.
Hey, thanks for sharing that with us, man. Beautiful words. I don't want to hurt people anymore. Second row up here, Mickey. You got to run a little bit, though.
So my dad overdosed on heroin and passed away not long ago, and I just pray that his soul and spirit is free at this point. Thanks.
And what was your name? Karie. I'm glad you're here tonight, Karie. Prayers for you.
My name is Michael, alcoholic addict. We found out that my mom's cancer is spread. We don't know the extent to it right now, so if we could have prayers, that'd be awesome. Thank you.
Sorry to hear that, man. Prayers for her. Prayers for you and your family. Mickey, since you have the mic, do you want to join me up here tonight?
Yes.
I knew you would love that opportunity.
And I can still read.
You can't read. You got to take this side, though.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just the way we do it here. We're creatures of routines and habits. Habits is next week.
Yes, sir.
All right, you take the first one on here. We're going to heartache with our online people. If the tech team puts it up for us. There they go.
All right, Karie, prayers for one of my patients, Dorothy, who was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Yeah, prayers for that.
Prayers for them,
It's
Karie.
tough.
Yeah, hard times. Christy said praying for good results for Jen this week as we go for more tests with doctors. Christy and Jen holding you in prayer this week.
Roger, please pray for my daughter, Kayla Weishart. Lift her up.
Tina says, my beloved cat Fawn died in my arms on Thursday. I am heartbroken and miss her every moment. Tina, prayers for you during this time of grief and heartache.
Devana, please prayer for my dear best friend as her daughter under 1 year battles trisomy 13. Faith is currently in the ICU fighting for her life. It's heartbreaking to her about this little one in the hospital for most of her life. That's really tough.
Lifting her up. Thanks for sharing that with us, Devana. Frank says, I'm in recovery but struggling. Prayers, please, my friends. Lifting you up, Frank. Stay connected. Hope you have people you're reaching out to. Prayers for you, brother.
Stephen, my prayers for Amanda. Boyfriend passed yesterday from OD. She OD'd today and was brought back. May she find her way. Prayers for her, Stephen.
Yeah. Dang, man. Mike says, prayers for my wife. She will be having her knee replaced again soon. Mike, lifting up your wife. And I'm glad you're part of this community. Prayers for you guys.
And Karie, prayers for the souls lost to their addiction and their families last couple weeks at the rehab I work at. Literally just got word of a peer brother passing yesterday as well. Karie, we left that up.
Yeah. Trisha says, prayers for my family, marriage, and children that we can have better relationships through recovery and become stronger as a family, and my son who is stationed overseas. Trisha, praying for you and your family, doing recovery and life together. It gets better.
Kelly, please pray for both my sons to find their feet in sobriety. Praying for your sons, Karie. Kelly.
Jen says prayers for those in active addiction, prayers for those that have relapsed, prayers that we find their way back to sobriety and find their way home. And we'll leave it there. If y'all have more on the Facebook, the YouTube. Who says the Facebook, man? It's like I'm old. Drop them in. We'll heartache with you all week long there. Hey, Mickey, would you, you don't even have to say anything, but would you keep standing up here for a moment? Noelle, would you join me up here for a moment? Tammy Kennedy, would you join me up here for a moment? Now, here's what y'all might not know. I think everyone knows this, but I'm just going to say it just to, if you want to scoot up a little bit, Mickey. Noelle, you can come down here. Now, Noelle is pregnant. Y'all knew that, right? 9 months pregnant. That means little baby girl is due any day now. Can I say the due date? That's not a surprise, right? No, you can say April 4th. My birthday is on April 3rd, so you know it could be my birthday. Anything can happen in the next several weeks. So here's what I thought we'd do. This was Noelle's last night to share the message before going on. I mean, you'll still be around the next couple of weeks maybe, but anything could happen, and we're just aware of that. Pregnancy, as we know, anything can happen. We've got 4 of those things. Human beings, children that we love very much. They are people. But we just want to send you off with a blessing. So can I say a blessing over you and for this new baby girl that's going to be entering the world soon? Yep. All right, and y'all, you're going to do this blessing with me. You don't have to say anything. Just maybe open your hands and invite God's spirit, God's energy to extend to the Wasaki family, to this beautiful family with Noelle and Mickey. I would put my hand on your back or shoulder, but I'm holding a mic, so I'm touching you in spirit. All right, let's say a little blessing over them. God, we're grateful for Mickey and Noelle and the life that they have together, the life they have together in recovery, because you are good and you always give new life. And God, we ask for a special blessing on this baby girl that is going to be born into the world, that she experiences all kinds of love, all kinds of belonging and worthiness, and that she grows up to know that you always love her no matter what. So God, fill Mickey and Noelle with all kinds of grace and patience and love and everything it takes to raise a child. And God, give them every good thing from you that we know you give. God, fill them with peace. Go with them in these final weeks as they wait, and it seems like forever. Give them a deep peace, knowing that you are with them, knowing that it's going to be good. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, y'all, we're happy for y'all. We can't wait. All right. We'll close with this because someone was asking me about what's the story with the wagon? Someone was asking me about that tonight. It's been a minute since I told the story of the wagon because, see, we do this life together. And see, it was a few years ago I was in L.A. at the largest rescue mission in the nation. It's called the L.A. Rescue Mission. And we were taking a tour there with the executive director, and he brought us up to the top floor, and it was their floor with all their memorabilia pictures on it. And right in the center, the largest picture was this big black and white photo of a wagon. And I said, dude, what's the story with the wagon? He said, you don't know about the wagon? I said, no, I don't. He says, you need to know the story about the wagon. This wagon, back in the late 1800s, when this rescue mission started, it would go from there into the roughest parts of LA. And this wagon, people on it would be distributing food, clothing, Bibles, other materials. And then at the end of the night, they would welcome anyone who wanted to get on the wagon and go back to a place of recovery. And the thing is, when a bunch of drunks get on a wagon late at night, what happens? Some people fall off the wagon. And as he's telling me this story, he says, but the cool thing about this wagon is when the drunks would fall off, the wagon would stop and the sober ones would get off to help them back on because they knew where they were headed. And as I'm hearing this story, I thought, dude, that's, if we ever start something new in our backyard like we did, the central image is going to be the wagon, because we know where we're headed and we don't do shame. And man, when I think about the wagon, that's who we are. It's why we do baptisms in the wagon. It's why the wagon is a central image in this community, because we do it together because we know where we're headed. Now, part of being the wagon together is giving. I say it every week. I say it with a sigh like that, giving. No, it's actually a good thing. In fact, you should know that without your giving, without your generous giving, this community doesn't exist. So I take this opportunity to say thank you for all of you who have made giving a spiritual practice in your life. Thank you. I know for many of you, it's been a sacrificial practice. It truly does make a difference here. Even if it's a small amount, large amount, whatever amount it is, it truly makes a difference here. There's a giving box just outside these doors and outside those doors. And there's 3 ways to give online. The first way is to download the app, Free Spiritual Community. It's free to download. It's got all our content on there, but you can give there through the app. Or you can go right to the website, freespiritualcommunity.com/give, and you can give that way. Or you can text the number on your screen, and it'll walk you through a simple set of instructions. If you call this place home, we really appreciate your giving to make home. Thank you all for being a part of that. Shall we go out with a prayer? I think we should. Thank you for saying yes to that. It'd be bad if y'all said, nah, not tonight. We might just shut things down. Just take an opportunity to open your hands. It's a sign of openness to God moving in our midst, Spirit breathing in our midst. And if you don't know this prayer, it's called the Lord's Prayer, and it'll be on the screen. And it starts like this. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. My free brothers and sisters, may you be patient in the transition into new life. And new life is always good. Grace, compassion, love, and forgiveness. And next week, we'll see you at either 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock. And it's going to be good. We'll see you then. Grace and peace, everybody.